Hello guys, sorry that the lighting here is making me look red and the whole video will be probably a bit reddish. Also, sorry I've been gone for such a long time and I will probably be gone even longer. I mean, I'm going to post this video up, but university has just been hectic. I've got so much work, it's crazy, and probably the next time I'll be able to actually put up videos on a weekly basis will be around June. Until June, I'm afraid there's gonna be much less content from me because there's just so much stuff I have to do for uni and with work. It's hard to both work and go to university, so I hope you guys understand that I'm not putting out so much videos and that I won't be for a while. I mean, I'll try to put something up as often as I can, but I don't know how it will turn out. Also, do you like the new hairdo? I think it's okay. I mean, I didn't shave off my head because I am practically bald, so I'm just doing this. I'm kind of digging it. I think it's okay. What do you guys think? Okay, never mind. Let's get to the topic. And the topic is brain myths. There's a lot of stuff circulating the internet about our brain, like, you know, stuff that's theoretically true, but when you actually study the brain like I do, because I don't study only psychology, it's more of a neuropsychology, neurobiology thing. So we focus on the brain, and there's two common myths that a lot of people believe that I thought I should abolish because they irritate me, and also you can learn something from me. Also, we really enjoyed the video about subcultures and psychology, so I thought this might be something you guys might like as well. Let's get started. God, I haven't done this for such a long time. I have no idea what I'm doing. Okay, the number one myth, well, this is only gonna be like two, but still, the first myth is that we only use 10% of the brain, and I mean, this is a myth that is so commonly believed that there are even movies about, like the movie Lucy. We actually use 100% of our brain. I'm going to explain all of this, how it works biologically, so that you understand what I'm talking about. So let's start off with where the myth probably began. So when you get a PET scan, or I think it's a PET scan anyway, you get an image of the brain, and most of your brain is grey, and some areas of the brain are colourful, and that does not mean that the rest of your brain isn't working. It just means that those particular colourful areas, they are working much more at this particular moment. So for instance, if you're moving your fingers, then the part of your brain that controls the movement of your fingers will probably be working more well, and that's if you're doing it while taking a PET scan, and that's why that certain area may have color. Our brain, the whole thing works constantly, because our brain is not only responsible for our thinking and mental health. It's not only our psyche, it's absolutely everything in our body. Our brain controls absolutely every single detail. It controls the way we move, and we've got different areas of our brain responsible for different areas and parts of our body. So different areas of the brain work while we move different areas and parts of our body. So it controls that, it controls our thinking, our remembering, it controls the things that we cannot control. So it controls that our lungs, so that we can breathe, it controls our heart, so that the blood pressure and everything is okay. It controls absolutely every single thing in our body. I think the only thing that our brain in our body does not control is the sheer act of getting pregnant. And I'm not talking about sex, I'm talking when the sperm goes into the thing, and it's just, you know what I mean. And I'm not sure about this, but I think that is literally the only part of our body thing that our brain doesn't control. Thus, our brain we can't be using 10% of our brain if our brain is responsible for everything in our body and it is working constantly. If the part of your brain responsible for your lungs shut off, you'd be dead, because you wouldn't be breathing. You'd be dead. That's it. And you know, so we use our brain 100% of the time. And for instance, because we've got different parts of the brain for different parts of our body, if for instance we were to have our leg chopped off, then the part of, this will be kind of weird, but the part of our brain that controls our legs is next to the part of our brain that controls our genital areas. So if we were to lose that leg, that part of the brain doesn't become, dead. The part that's next to it, so the genital part of the brain, it takes over the part that controlled the leg, and so there's just more space or place in our brain that controls the genital area, but that place, it doesn't vanish, it just turns into something else. So our brain is constantly working on constantly doing something. So it's a myth that we use only 10% of our brain. We use 100% of it all the time, especially while sleeping. And the second myth I'd like to abolish is that the brain is getting smaller. I saw this on Facebook like 2 weeks ago. And my reaction was basically like, fuck, the actual fuck, because our brains, I mean, how would you measure it? Okay, more biology. The brain, the size of the brain, it doesn't depend on how smart we are. You can have a smaller brain and be smarter than a person with a bigger brain. So it doesn't depend on our intellect, it depends on our body size. I am small, I'm like 5'2" or 5'3", so my brain will be smaller than someone who's 2 meters and very big, has a big head. If someone has a bigger head and a bigger body, they have a bigger brain. So it's just like, if you're a small person, you have shorter legs. I have shorter legs than someone with 2 meters, that's normal, and it works exactly the same for our brain. If we have a smaller body, if we are smaller, our brain is smaller because of the capacity of our body, not because we're dumb or smart. And continuing this myth, our brain is getting smaller because of how much we're watching TV and using telephones and computers, and that's just such bullshit. Because as I explained a moment ago, our brain every size depends on the body, so it can't be getting small, because how would you measure it? Like, you can't measure someone who's small and has a smaller brain and someone who's big and has a bigger brain, because you just can't measure it. And the brain fits the size of our skull, so we can't measure it that way. And the brain can't be getting smaller because of such things, because we're still using the brain. Saying that we're not using our brains because we watch too much TV and stuff is stupid. We may not be using our intellect, and that may be true, and we might be becoming stupider or dumber. That may be true. Honestly, I don't know if that's true, but it may be true. But our brains are not becoming smaller just because we're getting dumber. Also, just because someone is watching more TV doesn't mean they're becoming more stupid. There are some very intelligent movies and documentaries and all that stuff, so it doesn't necessarily mean that. But I don't think you can become dumber. I mean, I'm not really sure about this. I haven't gotten that high in my education about the brain yet. But anyway, stupidity and intelligence aside, your brain can't get smaller, especially not because you're watching too much TV or taking too much time on your phone. And even if you are becoming dumber, because I don't know if that can happen, but let's say that it can just for a moment, even if you are becoming dumber, your brain doesn't become smaller because of it. And through generations, if our brain becomes smaller or bigger, it has nothing to do with our intellect. It has something to do with the way our bodies will go through evolution. When we used to be monkeys, yeah, we used to be monkeys. If someone's Catholic and doesn't believe that, I'm sorry. But when we used to be monkeys, long time ago, our heads were bigger because that's how our bodies were. And during evolution, our brains were bigger then, even if we weren't very much smarter. And through evolution, our bodies became smaller, our heads became smaller, and our brains became smaller. Does that mean we're dumber? I don't think so. We invented computers, and we can fly to Mars in a couple decades, probably. So I don't think that it means we're stupider. Thank you guys for this, I don't know what it was, a rant, an explanation video. I hope you've learned something that will probably not help you in your life in the slightest, but at least you'll be smarter and you'll be able to go to a party and say, haha, I know this, and you don't. Look, I'm cool. Only I do that because I don't have any friends. I mean, I do have friends, but my friends are just as fucked up as me, so what am I doing with my life? Thank you guys for watching. Hope you've learned something. Hope you enjoyed. If you have any suggestions to what you'd like to see from me, please comment down below, or just comment something nice in general. It's good to see you again, and like and subscribe to my potato face. It's just so hectic today. I'm like, what am I doing? Sorry, guys. Anyway, hope to see you soon. I really do. I'm really gonna try to do that. Promise you. Pinky promise. And yeah, missed you guys. Hope you missed me a bit too. See you later. Bye. Mwah.